Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, this is Cal. I'm going to do a Zelda randomizer run here. We are doing a open run, which means we don't start with the escape. Normally I don't really care for these, but for some reason I just really don't feel like trying to do the escape right now. I just want to get right into the game. So we are still starting with just this part of the escape, because I did set it for Uncle Guaranteed Sword. So we're not going to do the whole escape, we're just doing this part. From there we're going to progress to other more interesting things. If you're not familiar with Zelda Randomizer, it mixes up where all the items in the game are. It's pretty simple. The goal is still to beat Ganon, but we have collect the 7 crystals, beat Ganon, but in order to do that, we need to figure out where we need to go. Because everything's out of order. The dungeons don't have to be completed in a standard order, the items are not where they normally are. For example, we're going to get crystals from the 3 Light World dungeons, which probably means something important is in Turtle Rock, out of spite. Ooh, that's actually a potentially important item. As soon as we get access to them, we were going to want to check which medallions we need for Turtle Rock and for Misery Mire, because we may need to beat Aghanim. That ledge that I just walked by is only accessible by beating Aghanim, so it's a possibility. So we're starting with Kakariko Village. Kakariko is one of the most plentiful sources of items early game. I think there's like 13 or something like that. Probably higher than that. And we got some bombs from our first little section there, so we're good there. We may have to end up going back and doing the escape, but we can at least check through all these easy items first, see if there's anything that can make those sections faster. And we may just not need to. It's an out-of-the-way, kind of long section. Especially the basement. There's only like a couple treasure chests that are worthwhile in that entire section. Just because there's a lot of keys and such. I think there's 4 in the sewer, maybe 2 in the basement. And we can always do the part of the sewer from the other side once we get the glove. Hammer is good. Hammer in combination with a lot of other things gets us access to a lot of the Dark World. And a couple dungeons, but we need the glove first before it'll be useful. A lot of this is basically a puzzle. You have to kind of figure out where to go next based on what items you're able to get access to. So we start out with access to a couple areas on the map where we just need, like, bombs, which you can buy if you need to. From there we go to other areas of the map that are much more, or that are increasingly restrictive. Like, a lot of the dungeons you need specific, very specific items to actually complete. You need the bow to complete the first level, you need the glove, either the lamp or the fire rod, and the Book of Medora to be level 2. Desert, rather. So yeah, we've got a decent start with the hammer. It's also just a very powerful thing to get. Let's go back to my house. Just because it hits enemies so hard, it's not terribly efficient to use all the time because of how hard it is to aim attacks with the hammer. But against certain bosses and such, and like Moldorm, and certain just regular enemies, can be very powerful. That's not a good start to Randomizer run. The not very good start that I was referring to there was the yawn, not the actual run so far. Run so far is okay. I'm kind of dreading the fact that we're gonna probably have to go to Aghanim, but I'm hoping we can at least find some good items before we have to go to Aghanim. Because doing Aghanim with the fighter sword is terrible. We need either the cape or the master sword to get in. I mean, preferably we'll end up, if we do have to do it, we can go back with like blue tunic and hookshot and a tempered sword or something. Master sword. 300 rupees, that's a good start towards Zora. We need 500 rupees for Zora. Let's go to the ice cave. Unfortunately, we still don't have access to any of the dungeons to full clear. However, given where we're at, I do feel like there's a good chance we're either going to need to go back after this and do escape, or start into the first dungeon, into Eastern Palace. So I think we're gonna head over to Sahasrala, see if there's any items in the back of this hut, and start into the next dungeon. It's always a good start place anyway. Oh, we've got the mushroom for the witch also. So I think we're gonna still start with Sahasrara, and then we'll wander over to Eastern. We actually don't have a way to get to Zora yet. Ideally, if we can get Clippers or Glove, we can get to Zora, and then we can do like 3 things when we go drop the mushroom off instead of just 1. Having to redo or go dip back into Eastern is kind of annoying, but it's not a super long dungeon. We don't have to do any of the side rooms or the loop a second time. And that makes it a lot less awful. Big key right off the bat. That's good. That means we can do all the other treasure chests without breaking logic. I'm still going to go do the dark room on this trip through to save time, but it means we technically don't have to, or shouldn't have to. There should be another path available to us. Granted that we technically have a path available to us, it's called Aghanim. We don't have the Moon Pearl or anything though, so having to do Aghanim right off the bat seems somewhat unlikely. It's possible, but it's unlikely to have to just go raw like that. Sometimes you'll find an item on the pyramid. I think that's the only area that's accessible if you're Bunny Link. If you have to do Aghanim, so. Failed horribly at that, but that's okay. Nope. There's a unique item in Ice Palace. Okay, that's good to know. Just in case. Mirror. Yep. We don't have the lamp yet, so we shouldn't have to go beat the level. There we go. There we go. So technically, to get past that, you're supposed to have the lamp. That makes the room, that makes the dark room accessible. Silver arrows. The boss just has the map, because we did not find the map. So, let's see, we have the mirror. Fortunately, I think we need to start on escape. technically it could be the witch. I think those are the only two areas that I have that we haven't done yet. So I think we're gonna do... Oh, we don't have the lamp, so we can't do parts of escape yet either. And let's do the basement quick. They're basically separate areas. I'm trying to remember if there's anything weird with mirror. I mean, I guess the nice thing here is we can technically mirror back out once we do the basement. And we could actually go back up and do Aghanim also. If we just wanted to do everything at once. However, we still don't have the Moon Pearl. It's kind of important. Again, we could check the pyramid, and possibly at that point, I guess we could wander towards... No, we can't get to Catfish. I was gonna say Catfish. I think it's just that. So I'm gonna trust that we're gonna find the glove or the flute soon. And have to head up to Death Mountain and do Tower of Hera next. We can also, at that point, get to Eastern Death Mountain, because the hammer allows you to go east from Tower of Hera and down the other side without the hookshot. Still need a few more rupees. Yeah. See? Gloves. Okay, so we have access to... We still don't have the lamp. But gloves gives us access to a couple more things. Namely Zora, which we have enough rupees for. And the basement of escape? I'm guessing at this point we're going to get the lamp soon. We can check what this item on the ledge is, at least. Just a heart piece, so nothing important. We're not going to have to come back up here with flickers. So if we get the book here, that means we're going to... Nope, nothing. I mean... Signs are pointing heavily towards Aghanim at this point. Can't even think if there's anything else that I can do. Oh, that's right, duh. I'm just gonna check the backside of Escape. That is actually much faster and not super out of the way. So the actual sewers entrance is dark. This side is not. This is 3 treasure chests. Okay. Now we can go to Aghanim. Actually, no, we don't have to do Aghanim now. Now we go to the Dark World via other means. Because we have the gloves and the hammer. And the mirror and the moon pearl. Which gives us access to most of the overworld in the dark side, or on dark side. Let's do a quick check. Crystals. Okay. So no Lost Woods, Turtle Rock, or Blind. I'll believe any of those when I see it because they're some of the most accessible dungeons. Or rather, Lost Woods and Blind are 2 of the more accessible dungeons to dip into. There's very few requirements for getting into them. Okay. So there's that. Hype Cave, which was not very hype. I'm gonna pop over to the woods quick. It's only 1 item, but it's nearby. And then we can check the mirror ledge here. See, this is why I do this. Probably nothing. At this point, we're early enough, I'll grab the heart piece. I'm gonna run across and do Shuffle Game, because that way we've got it out of the way. You can't do Shovel Game while you have a person following you, so if we end up doing Blacksmith and Treasure Chest, this will save us a side trip. And I'm gonna go check a couple of other one-offs to save some time later. Again, this probably isn't the most efficient thing, but we're gonna have to check, or we're probably gonna have to check them eventually, and we may as well get it out of the way. So I'm gonna do Pyramid and Catfish. They're both one-offs, but they're what we have access to right now easily. We still have the whole Thieves Town, so that's gonna save us some time later, but... or... no. Thieves Town is has a lot more items available, rather. We don't have a bow, so that kind of limits Dark Palace. We don't have the hook shot or the flippers for Swamp. We don't have access to Misery Mire at all. And we don't have flippers or a fire source for Ice Palace. So we're fairly limited on what we've got access to right now, and unfortunately it looks like it's a bunch of pendant dungeons. Okay. I mean, the good news is once we actually start engaging with stuff, it's gonna go real quick. Fire Rod. Nice. That gives us access to more of Lost Woods, and also gives us access to... finishing both of the Light World dungeons that we don't have access to yet. Yeah. So you have to go around here and go in the back. Check all the houses here. I'm guessing we're gonna find something. Otherwise, we're gonna have to dip into Blind or Lost Woods. We have access to full clear both, or we can get the Titansmith, and it won't matter, because that gives us access to a bunch. We're pretty much good on rupees at this point. With the chest minigame out of the way there. The last thing we have to do is just open Eastern or Dark Palace. Trying to think of what else we've got access to now with Power Glove besides the King's Tomb. Or Titan's Mitt, rather. Oh, while we're here, since we're in the neighborhood, let's check the desert cave quick. Again, we're very limited on I think we've only got a couple non-dungeon locations left, which I'm gonna knock out quick. Sanctuary. And then I think I'm gonna take a quick break and potentially dive into some dungeons. Or not. So, Flute gives me access to Death Mountain. I currently have access to all of it. So, let's see, we can't do Old Man. I think I'm still just gonna safe quit out here, now that we've activated Flute, and we'll pick back up next time with Death Mountain. Hopefully you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give me a like and subscribe. Check out the other content on my channel. If you do have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below, and as always, have a good one.